Today's guest is from Virginia Beach, Virginia. She was a two-time NFHCA High School All-American while playing for Frank W. Cox High School. She started her college field hockey career at Duke before doing her fifth year at Maryland. At Duke, she was named to the All-ACC second team in 2019 and helped the Blue Devils to a 2018 Final Four appearance. At Maryland, she was named to the NFHCA All Mid-Atlantic First Team after leading the team in game-winning goals. She was a member of the 2021 Junior Pan American Championship squad that won a bronze medal. Her first senior national team cap came on April 16, 2022 against Argentina. Since then, she has 41 caps, earned a silver medal at the 2023 Pan American Games, and was a member of a team that earned silver at the 2024 Olympic qualifier. Please welcome Leah Crouse to the Players Corner.
Hi, guys.
All right, so we'll get started with fan questions.
Leah asked, what's your favorite pregame meal?
Oh, my favorite pregame meal. Normally with the team, we have breakfast 3 hours before. But I'm kind of someone who's very basic and loves like a good PB&J. And then one of my teammates, Allie Hamill, we have tea time before our game. So we both love green tea. We're not like coffee drinkers. So we always try to have tea together, which is really nice.
Danielle Grega told us to ask you about your nickname.
Of course she did. Okay. My nickname is Crouton. And then that nickname has developed other nicknames of Crudy or Croot, any type of like connector, anything. It has many different names. But I developed my name Crouton from playing at Maryland. Our practice player, he was looking for a different name for me because there was another girl named Leah on the team. And having the name Leah Crouse, I don't know, it just hasn't created many nicknames for me. So he was thinking of CR words because of Crouse. And then he called me Crouton. And I was like, what? Why'd you call me Crouton? And he said, no, I'm not gonna, that's weird. I'm not gonna call you that. And I said, no, I absolutely love it. Please call me Crouton. And I think too, it really fits my personality. I'm obviously trying to be very serious on the field, but I am very unserious in life and love to joke around. And I honestly think it's the biggest inside joke when we're playing in front of like 16,000 fans in India and our coach is shouting, Crouton, 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 you know, like it is, I think it's hilarious and I love it. Yeah, so it definitely brings me a lot of joy on the field a little bit. I don't know if people mean for that to be like that, but it definitely makes me happy being called it.
So our first question's a little bit of a hard one. Can you describe yourself as a person without mentioning field hockey?
Ooh, that's tough. Field hockey is such a big part of our lives. I would say that, again, going with the nickname Crouton, I'm very unserious and playful and love to like joke around. I'd love to say I'm pretty smart. I'd also love to say I'm pretty humble, but I have a lot of passions for the medical field after my hockey career. So I was pre-med at Duke, and eventually after hockey, I want to pursue that passion. My mom was a doctor, so I'm always trying to find ways to like stay engaged while playing field hockey, which has been a challenge. But yeah, I think overall a career in service and giving back is something that means a lot to me. But I do love playing field hockey, not to mention field hockey, so.
So our next question is, so not really a question, but so I like your background story of how you started playing field hockey and kind of discovered it. Can you share with the class?
Yes. I started playing when I was 10. I grew up playing a bunch of different sports like softball, basketball, but when I was driving past my high school, I would drive past my like local high school to go to my summer camp, and I would always see these girls playing field hockey out there, and they always looked like they were having a great time and grinding. And I was with my dad and I was like, I think I actually want to try field hockey. So then I joined a league that fall and just fell in love with it. I think the sport just has a really great combination of everything that like I love and I'm good at. Like can't do anything with my feet. So hand-eye coordination is great. But I also just like love to run around, and I think the team atmosphere honestly is the strongest part. Like I love my teammates and I love being a part of a team. And I knew that was important to me.
Yeah, I really like your story because I feel like a lot of the girls who like we've done so far, they've all like, oh, my mom played field hockey, like my sister played field hockey. Like everyone's kind of like it's been like a family thing that they play field
Mhm.
hockey, where I like that yours is just like, oh, I saw it, I wanted to do it, which is kind
Yeah.
of like I started playing because my middle school gym teacher made us play it in gym class. So
Yeah.
like I like hearing kind of the stories that are a little bit more like fun or like not like just like family legacy ones.
Yeah, and I think my parents were really supportive of me trying anything and trying everything. Which just at Regen, I was just talking to my mom and I was like, honestly, thank you for really just like supporting us. And there was never any expectations or supporting us, me and my brother, like supporting me. And there was never any expectations to like do well at anything, but I was like encouraged to like do well, if that makes sense. Like they just like had this belief in me that I could do well and could do anything I wanted. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play field hockey. And yeah, I just ended up falling in love with it.
So on your Maryland profile, it says that you can play the trumpet.
Oh yeah.
Were you a part of like your school band, or is that something that you just learned to do in your free time?
Oh, I was a regular band member from, I think I started playing the trumpet when I was in 5th grade and I did it till 9th grade. My band teacher was not very supportive of my field hockey career and me doing both. So I kind of had to end
Aw.
up choosing. I know, quite ridiculous. But I don't play it as much anymore. But sometimes when I'm home, I'll just like whip it out and try it. But my mom, she was very, or she's very musically inclined. Like she used to be in a band, so she wanted me to try all things music. So growing up, I also played the piano too, and yeah, I think it's like a part of myself. I also love just like having that kind of step away and just doing different things other than field hockey. To have other interests is really important.
You scored the game-winning goal in your high school championship. Do you have any memories of that game?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
I tell you, we do very
Wow.
good research.
Yeah, wow. Oh my gosh. Let me think back.
Me.
Um, well, my high school field hockey team, I'm not sure. We have like at least 25 state championships now, I think. So again, that's how kind of I got into field hockey, seeing my local high school that was literally right down the street from me. And so I knew like I always wanted to be a part of this tradition, and that's what they call it, a tradition. So I think in that game, oh man, it's like really bringing me back. I don't even remember. High school field hockey was so different back, or so different. Um, but I think I just wanted to do it for like to keep our kind of tradition going and our legacy of um getting that state championship and getting the ring was so important. And so I think when I had that opportunity, I feel like I started at like the 50 and just like dribbled, and it was kind of like a movie scene, honestly. But it was awesome. And um yeah, wow. I honestly totally forgot about that. So that is great for you guys to bring that up.
All right, we got one more like super stalkerish question in this section.
That
Um,
is.
so in 2016, you did an interview with, I couldn't figure out what the company was. It might have been like a school newspaper, local newspaper. And they asked what the next step in your field hockey career was, and your answer was, and I quote, I would love to play field hockey in college. I've been on some college visits and I love watching the college game. It's definitely a goal of mine to play professional field hockey after college, but that's really far off.
Oh.
Now that playing pro is not so far off, what would you go back and tell your younger self?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. Can you please send me that
I'll
art?
find it and I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is so full circle. Um, I think I just tell that little girl to just believe in her, keep believing in herself and that she can do it. I think maybe it is strange in that when I started playing field hockey, I knew I always wanted to get to the highest level. And I'm not sure everyone always like comes out with that belief, but again, with my parents always encouraging me, I always thought that I could deep down. And although I don't think I believed it, it seemed very far off at that moment. I think I always had this kind of like knowledge in myself that I wanted to get there and I wanted to see how far that I could push myself and how much I could achieve, honestly. And I know Virginia Beach used to have the national team based out of there. So I grew up kind of with them around, which was awesome. And I think I've seen the impact too of how the national team now being based in Charlotte, how that can build up hockey here. It definitely built up hockey in Virginia Beach, and it literally brought me partially to the sport. I know Stephanie Fee, she was a two-time Olympian. She went to my high school as well and also played at Duke and then was a coach at Maryland. So we have followed very similar life paths. We've talked about it with each other. But she was another role model growing up where I was like, oh, I saw she could do it. So that means I could too. But yeah, I think I just really always had this kind of like in the back of my brain knowledge that I could do it and that I really wanted to. And I don't think I could have been or could have felt that my hockey career was fully complete unless I was able to compete at the highest level.
So we're going to transition to questions about college field hockey. So what was your favorite memory from Duke outside of field hockey?
Oh, outside of field hockey. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Um, wow. Honestly, the first thing I think of is some of the great friendships I've made, like with my teammates, and then also with my roommates. I roomed with some people on the lacrosse team. And honestly, it was just like the small little moments that I honestly miss so much. Like in college, it's so great because your dorms or your apartments are right next to each other and you can just walk right in and go see them. And now there's so many miles away and I'm like, wait, but I miss this. Like I miss just being able to like have fun, even just like sit on the couch and just like spend time together. I think yeah, I miss that and like all of the little like debriefs and everything. Yeah, I'd say that's like my best memory was the connections I made at Duke. I feel like I made some really great lifelong friends there.
So you majored in biology and had minors in neuroscience and chemistry during your undergraduate. How did you handle the course load of such like a hard major while also being an athlete?
Oh, it was definitely a challenge. It was definitely a challenge. I lost some sleep, but I think what helped me most was my time management. I could really like go hard at homework when I needed to, and then be able to switch back to hockey. We mostly practiced in the morning, and then I'd have school the rest of the day. So I kind of honestly compartmentalized it in my brain where I was like, okay, this is hockey time, this is school time. It definitely was a challenge compared to some of my teammates who had like not to be like that, but like lesser majors, where I'd see them and they like be like doing nothing and I'd be up doing lab reports and crazy things and having so much more class time than they did. But I think what made it worth it is just I loved my education and I value education so much. So I honestly found my classes really interesting. So I think that helped me get through them because if I was studying something I did not like, I would have not enjoyed it at all. But yeah, I think honestly the balance it created for me was pretty good of where like I had things to think about outside of hockey. So like having that like dualism, I guess, I miss a bit of being able to kind of like shut my hockey brain off and then go to school or vice versa.
What do you think was the biggest difference between ACC and Big Ten field hockey?
Ooh, yeah, good question. I think when most people think of Big Ten versus ACC, they think of Big Ten being a lot more physical than the ACC, but I'm not sure I would agree with that. I feel like the lines are kind of fading between the two groups. Yeah, I don't, yeah, I don't feel like I have a great answer for that one besides that.
Yeah, I think I know we asked Bia. I can't remember if we asked Tamer, like kind of the same question, like what their opinions were. And I think
Maybe Zimmer.
maybe,
Mhm.
I can't remember who the other person was, but they both said that like Big Ten is grittier and like ACC is cleaner.
Yeah, I
And
think
like,
ACC tries to play a little bit more pretty hockey, kind of like going with the flow, and then Big Ten can be, yeah, a little bit more like gritty, physical, than the ACC.
So this one kind of like, how did you transition from playing in the ACC to the Big Ten? Was there any adjustments that you had to make?
I don't think that there was much in adjust. Well, I don't think that there was much in an adjustment because after my senior year at Duke, I moved down to Charlotte briefly and centralized with the national team. And I kind of call that phase of my life a little boot camp. I was put to work. um, I at that point too, I had like not made a selection for the Pan American Championships, so I was really in Charlotte just grinding with like I think 5 or 6 other girls. And I'm honestly incredibly grateful for that time because I think it improved my fitness drastically, but also improved my knowledge of the game a lot, just being able to watch them like from afar, kind of disconnected. And then that spring I also played at the Junior World Cup and then got my cap in Argentina. So I was experiencing so many different aspects of hockey and growing that when I got to Maryland finally, I felt like I could put it all together. And I felt like I did. And the coaches were incredibly supportive of that knowledge that I had gained and just kept trying to foster it and let me play how I wanted to play. And yeah, I'm very grateful. I had the best time at Maryland. So
Even on Duke, there's quite a few players currently on the US national team who come from Maryland, um, and Duke. So how do you think Maryland helped to prepare you for the international game?
oh yeah. I think both schools did a wonderful job of preparing me for the international level and preparing Jill and Brooke, Emma, Kelly, Linnea. I mean, the list goes on and on. Um, I think at Maryland, the intensity of the training and also just the grind that we did in such a short amount of time. But I think at both schools, it's important to like almost realize those like moments outside the grind. Like you have to have balance. And um, I think it's something that I learned at both that like in order for me to be a good hockey player, I have to have a lot of or other things going on in my life. Like I can't just think about hockey. So yeah, I think both schools did a great job of creating that kind of environment around the team that we could then go back to and like fuel our passion for the game.
so we're gonna kind of transition into national team questions now. So you had the opportunity to play in the Junior World Cup in 2021 in South Africa. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was so cool. We honestly didn't do as well as we would have hoped. We had this game versus England where we could have gone to the top four and we lost and we were devastated. But I think the group we had there was very special. We had so much fun together. We were all staying at a villa during COVID, so we got very close. But I think the ability to compete against so many different teams in such a short amount of like a short tournament was awesome. Like every country has their different playing style, and just that exposure is incredible to see. Like South Africa, the girls were so fast. Holland, obviously, they are like play at a different level. Yeah, and just like the pace that people play is crazy. So I think definitely that was a huge moment in my career and my transition from kind of the college to the national team. And I'm so grateful I got that because it was a good step up, but there was still even more intensity to come with the national team.
What was your reaction when you received your first senior team call up?
Oh, I think I was in South Africa at the time. But I think I just thought of it as a huge full circle moment of just anything, just everything that I've wanted, like from when I was a young hockey player and what I believed in and thought I could do. And I just when I got that chance, I knew I couldn't take it for granted at all. And I actually got my first cap with Charlotte DeVries, who I grew up playing with on Tokoyo. So it was also very special for us to have that moment together. Like her mom would always drive us to like indoor practices and everything, and just like to get that moment at the same time was really special, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity with her. But the game I played my first cap in, it was in Argentina, and they treat their women's hockey team like we treat our women's soccer team. They're incredibly like they're famous. They have huge Instagram followings. Like there's so much support, and my mom ended up coming for the game, and she didn't know to get tickets beforehand, so she was waiting in line, and the game was sold out. The game was sold out, and my mom was like, "Oh gosh, how am I going to get in there?" And then she ended up being like, "One of my daughters is playing," so she got to go in, thankfully. But the crowd was insane, and just like the atmosphere they have around sports, all the chanting, all the yelling was really special. And I mean, I don't remember much of the game itself besides for trying to survive and get by and not let anyone down. But it was a really, really special opportunity.
So we've talked to a lot of the college players about kind of their decision to leave college and join this centralized group, but we haven't really talked to any of the other players about it. What like went into the decision for you to join the group in Charlotte after you graduated college?
Oh, I don't even think it was a decision. I think when I got the opportunity to go, I said, I'm going. This is like what I want to do. And there was no looking back. Obviously, I want to go to med school later. So I think that was a challenge of like, okay, how am I going to do this? Like if I'm taking such a big break from school, but um, honestly, I think it's like the best decision I've made, and I don't think I could have gone to medical school right away. I think having this gap is really good for me to continue to develop as a person and just keep enjoying like the hockey experience. But yeah, I don't think it was much of a decision. I was like, okay, I get this chance. This is what I want. I'm going for it, and I'm gonna try my best.
When you are traveling to matches, there's almost always a pretty big time zone difference. So, how do you personally or the team as a whole work to adjust with those time zone changes?
Good question. We have on our staff, our trainer, Hannah, she sends out like a list of, or whatever, not a list. She sends out a schedule a couple days out before we're leaving for a trip of kind of like, oh, you should start like changing your sleep time. So like fall asleep a little bit earlier or later, depending on where we're going, so that we can partially adjust. And then also that details too, like when should we sleep on the plane, when should we eat meals and stuff like that. And so we kind of try to adjust before we go. When we get there, it definitely takes a couple days, but one big thing we do is when we land, like, or that morning or every time we wake up, we go on a walk together. We have a team walk so that we can see the sunshine and kind of get our circadian rhythm going. And I think that really helps too. But yeah, it can be a challenge, especially what like New Zealand, I think was like an 18 hour time change. It's like a whole day ahead. So it's definitely crazy, but I think our support staff do a great job of kind of helping to schedule us.
So last year after the Pro League series in Europe, you stayed in Europe to do some traveling. What did you do?
So I actually went by myself to a Harry Styles concert in Frankfurt, Germany. I am a huge Harry Styles fan, but also Harry Styles somehow followed USA Field Hockey around the globe. So I was like, I need to go see him now because I have literally been everywhere with him. First, I think, what was it? November, I'm trying to get my days. November 2022, we were in Argentina, playing just some test matches versus Argentina and Holland. And Harry Styles had a concert that night in Buenos Aires. So that was like the first time. Then that February, March, we were in Australia and New Zealand, and he was performing in Australia and New Zealand. So that was crazy. And then we went to that summer, last summer, we were in London and then Belgium. And he had been performing in London when we were in London, and then in Belgium when we were in Belgium. So I was like, if he is following us around, I need to go track him down. But we had done this thing with Osaka, and right near their headquarters was a Harry Styles pop-up shop for the concert. So I go in there and I go and purchase a t-shirt for the concert because I was like, of course, this is perfect. Like it was crazy. And I just remember coming out of like I ran in to go purchase it really quickly, ran out, and we had to go catch a train, and like all my teammates were like lined up like 100 yards from each other, so they like knew I could run and like figure out where the train was and track it down. But it was really it was a kind of a group effort with that. But yeah, it was such a cool experience. And he has the Love on Tour, that was his tour name, and everyone was in like feathered boas, and just the community around the concert was really, really cool. And to go alone was really crazy, in a different country. But I actually recommend going to a concert alone. I think it was a great experience, and um yeah, it was a fantastic time. I love Harry Styles.
I love that. That's you speak of like the concert or like surround the community surrounding the concert. I went to the Eras tour
Oh
um
yeah.
last May, and that was just like the cool, like seeing everybody's
Hmm.
like I don't want to say costume, but like everybody was dressed as like different eras, and it was just
Yeah.
that was like the coolest part. Also, fun fact, I share my birthday with Harry Styles.
Oh, I'm jealous.
That's what I'll be like. I'll be like on it when it's February 1st. I share my birthday with Harry Styles, so you got to say happy birthday to him too.
Nice.
When you are playing in these countries that have such a large hockey culture compared to the United States, how do you adapt to all the noise and attention on the team?
Mm. Um, I think when you're away playing in front of these huge crowds, it's very easy, honestly, to block them out, with them being kind of so like big and like white noise. So I honestly just am able to really just focus on the game. Most of the people I hear are just our coaching staff hobby. He's very loud, so that's whose voice I mostly look for. Or Bing Bong too, our goalie. Her voice travels very nicely. But yeah, for some reason it's still very easy to like hear everyone, which I find kind of shocking, especially in countries like India, where there's just like yelling, it's screaming, or Argentina, or honestly, the loudest noise I ever had was in Chile during the Pan American Games. I had to take the first shootout in the final, and the crowd was whistling and it was so loud that the time started, and I didn't know it started. I didn't hear the whistle. So I was just looking around for around like 2 to 3 seconds. And then I look up at the scoreboard and the clock is counting down, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get going. So I end up just kind of beelining it straight towards the goal because I was worried I was going to run out of time, and then like turned and ended up getting a penalty stroke that one of my teammates scored. But definitely crazy, especially with like the reffing sometimes of being able to hear. Yeah, it can be a challenge.
So after the team qualified for the Olympics and took, a million photos, who was the first person that you called?
Oh my gosh, I called my dad. My dad, he is kind of he was who I was driving with when I started, when I realized I wanted to play field hockey, and I asked him, and he's who signed me up for field hockey, and he has been literally my rock through everything and has only been nothing but supportive and encouraging. And if anyone knows my dad, Brad, he is quite the cheerleader. So he is loves field hockey, is obsessed with like our team and like everything. So when I called him, we were both crying, like sobbing. And yeah, I think he was just so proud of, I mean, not only me, he is everyone's cheerleader. So he was just, I think, so proud of what the team accomplished, and how far we've come, and what we've persevered through. And he was just like, you guys deserve it so much. And yeah, it was a very special moment between us for sure.
Given that you make the roster for the Olympics, are any of your family or friends planning on making the trip to Paris?
Yes, my parents actually booked their flights and everything, and then they told me that if I don't make it, they are going without me. So that was a wonderful thing that they said. Yeah, I think some of my friends and like other family too are really close to going as well. So I hope they can. Tickets are very confusing though, so I think that's the main drawback. It's like kind of all sold out, but then they release tickets gradually. So I'm hoping they can get on it. It would be really cool if I could not only be an Olympian, but to have them watch me play would be like amazing. So I sure hope they could come. So that would be great.
Do you guys get like family and friends like tickets, or
Yeah,
do you have to buy them?
we have two like complimentary, and those will go to my parents. And then we have two that we can like, I guess, purchase that we have. So we have four total.
Okay. Because I Jenny or Jill, I get those interviews confused a lot. One of them mentioned that they had like 11 people and they were like not really sure like how that was all
Oh, I
gonna
think that
work.
was Jill.
Okay.
That was like the
Yeah.
whole like the whole party was
Yeah.
going.
Honestly, I could have close. I just remembered my club coach, Sandy Selassie, she really wants to go too. She has been a big impact on me as well. Love her. And she actually coached Caroline Nichols, who is another Olympian as well. So yeah, I would hope that she could come. She is a great coach. Whenever I go home, I like always go and try and see her and try and help out with Takoyo. But yeah, she's great.
So
Just
you're
to,
oh, wait, no,
oh,
you can
sorry.
go. You can
I
go.
was just gonna ask the Tokoyo, does that stand for something, or is that just
Yeah, it stands for take care of your own. And I think that the coaches there have fully adapted that mentality. The club kind of started as like there was another club that like people kind of overflowed, like weren't making selections. So then my coach started it so that people had the chance to play. And I think the um passion that she has for the game, but also passion for like helping young women achieve is extraordinary. She is like such a giver and such a kind person, but also can yell at you and get you to do what you're capable of. But I know a lot of people grew up in with club teams, really like I don't know, very serious, very serious. And Takoya was like it was serious at times, but we also had the most fun. I think we had the most fun of any club growing up, and I think that really fostered my love for the game. Being able to start so young and having like a great group of teammates and friends on the team and my coaches, like we would be other teams would be having serious warm-ups and we'd be doing yoga or like throwing hula hoops at each other. And like we just like I remember one time we were practicing indoor and she just canceled the practice and we played basketball the whole time. And, but it was so much fun. And yeah, I think that that enjoyment I had young really helped me like remember in the hard times just how much I loved the sport and how much it was worth it to keep playing.
So you're approaching 50 caps soon, and hopefully should earn it. I can't do math, so it'd probably be in the Olympics, maybe after the Olympics, but probably during Olympics.
Hmm.
Um, how does the team kind of celebrate milestones like that?
Oh, so it kind of depends. So for caps in the games, like we all get flowers and take a picture. But then the morning of the game, there's some little celebration, like people organize. And it's normally just like kind of an inside joke, like cute thing, and we all end up signing a card. Um, best 50th cap. Ooh, there's two best 50th cap celebrations. One is Allie Hamill. We call her Ham. And so some of my teammates wrote like a kind of poem, like rap verse for her. And then all of us were given little pig like almost like rubber things that squeaked. And so anytime the poem said ham, we had to throw them at her. So it's very it's very crazy. And then Carl, she got her 50th cap, I think in what I it was in the Pan American Games, but our teammates did like a whole rap song for her, and it was just amazing. And yeah, it really got the vibes going for sure.
Do you think you'll have croutons thrown at you?
Oh, I mean, I hope. Um,
Just bags of croutons.
yeah, I feel like something will be crazy with the croutons. So I'll be keeping an eye on for that for sure.
All right. So, looking forward, is there anything you are looking to individually improve upon before the Olympic roster gets named?
Hmm. I think over the past year, a big thing for me and how I've been improving is focusing more on the mental side of the game. I am quite the perfectionist. So I think mostly what I've been working on is just focusing on the process and staying engaged with that and just trying to get a little bit better every day. Our coach talks about this zone of proximal development. So like if you're like here and you want to get here, in order to get here, you have to make mistakes and you have to try new things. And I think that's what I am really focusing on, is being okay with making the mistakes and knowing at the end of the day, like my teammates will have my back and it'll be okay. But making mistakes is how you get better. But yeah, I think mostly just kind of trying to stay in the present moment and not looking too far ahead. We talk a lot about process versus outcome. So really trying to focus on the process and not like what you can get out of anything. So it's not about like making selection. It's about how can I get better every day. And I think that mindset flip has been huge for me in just trying to improve and also give myself grace. Field hockey wise, now I'm thinking about it. Um, I am now a defender. I used to be in college a forward and midfielder. I'm still kind of a midfielder, kind of complex, I guess. But I'm playing way deeper on the field. So a lot more defense focused, and then also outletting the ball, trying to look long and find longer passes like sweeps and hits that I wouldn't have been doing before as like a forward scoring on goal. So I'm definitely trying to adapt more of that in my game, looking long and using more of my aerial and everything. And then defensively working on 1v1 defense. And obviously, like, I think I started playing defense right before we went to the Pan American Games. And my second game as a defender was against Argentina, who's number 2 in the world. With some of the best individual defense individual attackers in the world, where they are dribbling and everything. So I've definitely had to learn real quick. But it's been really fun and I really enjoy this new position and this new challenge.
Do you have any plans for post-Olympics, whether it be a cool vacation or, work-related plans for the future?
Ooh, yeah. I don't think I can answer that one.
Okay.
Because yeah, I'm not really sure where I'll be. One day I would love to play abroad, play field hockey abroad, in Holland or Belgium. Holland has the top league in the world, and it's kind of like our NWSL here. I think that would be a crazy opportunity, and I would love to play there. And a lot of my friends from college are Dutch and play in that league, so I've been trying to connect with them. I think it's been a challenge though with the visa and everything, so I doubt that might not be in the cards for this year. But eventually, one year I would love to do that for sure.
All right, so now we are going to do everyone's favorite section, the fun questions, even though all questions are fun. So, usually our first go-to question usually is Wawa or Sheets because we have a lot of PA people. So Virginia has Wawa. Do you have a go-to Wawa order?
Okay, I hate to say this, but Virginia people aren't as crazy with Wawa as Pennsylvania people. And I
They're
think going to college and seeing the obsession people had with Wawa was quite fascinating. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I did not know this was a thing.
As a PA person myself, I feel like it's only like growing up, I didn't think it was like that of a craze. And then like, yeah, kind of when I was like going to college and like in the past few years, people have
Yeah.
just like, gone crazy for Wawa.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I hate to hate or be a hater, but like I don't fully understand it. I think it's like a great place to stop if you like need something on a road trip, like a good sandwich or something. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know the craze, but maybe I just haven't been there enough.
So you don't love Wawa ice water?
I don't even know that's a thing. Like I have no
What's it called? So we always ask what their orders are, and Sessa said that her order is ice water, and no one has understood that one at all.
Yeah, we're just confused about that one.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I literally went to Wawa this morning because I live a mile from Wawa. So like when I was in high school and I had to do like 2 mile runs, I would run to Wawa, get something to eat, and then run back as a 2 mile run.
Oh
So
wow.
that's
You wouldn't
kind of
get ice water?
no. That's kind of where my obsession with it came
Uh-huh.
from was just because like it literally is, I think it's like 0.9 or 0.98 miles from my house. So like, and we had to do 2 mile runs during the summer. So because that was our timed miles test. So like for me it was the most convenient thing because I was like, okay, I know exactly where 2 miles is, or like 1 mile is, and then 1 mile back. And I don't have to run on a track because I hated running on a track.
Me too, yeah.
Um,
Wow.
so our next question is, do you have any game day superstitions?
Ooh, game day superstitions. Oh, I only really have one game day superstition, and it's that I have to have green tea before every game. I'm not someone who can have a lot of caffeine, so I can't have coffee, but I feel like green tea is like the perfect level that I need. And so I brought a lot of tea to India. I'll say that. A lot of tea.
We're on what, episode 11, and we have not had a single person say lucky socks.
Yes, no lucky
I'm
socks.
so happy. I hate lucky socks. It's a thing. But like every time someone like what's it called? Every time we ask that question, I'm like sitting here with my fingers crossed that no one's gonna say lucky socks. Because like
Yeah,
I
no.
can't stand it. Especially when you guys play back-to-back games. It's like, are they getting washed? I don't
Yeah,
think they
no,
are.
they definitely wouldn't be. I do try and wear the same sports bra if I can, but like most of the time I can't, so I just kind of have to suck it up.
Who is your favorite teammate to room with?
Ooh, I feel like that's um ooh, I don't want to cause any problems, I can't cause any rifts. I'll have to say my favorite person to room with, who I room with most often, is Kelsey Bing. Somehow on every trip we're put together, it is crazy. She's my most common roommate. But she is great. Also she works all the time, so she's often not in the room, so like I kind of just get a room to myself, no, but she's awesome. And another thing about her 50th cap is for some reason people bought her poker chips, so I was tasked with putting like poker chips hidden in all over her room and throughout everything. So that was a fun time.
So there are players from kind of all over the country on this team. Do you have a teammate or like a couple of teammates that have like a that have like kind of the best accent or your favorite accent?
Mm, I'm trying to think. I feel like our accents aren't really that strong. Allie Hamill being like from like Massachusetts kind of says like roof instead of roof, that kind of weird thing. The PA water or whatever. That's kind of funny. Megan Rogers from California kind of has a little Cali vocal fry, which is kind of funny. What else? I feel like that's mainly it, unless I'm missing anything. Sana, also, obviously being Dutch, she has thick accent, which is kind of fun, but I don't think she'd like me to say that she has an accent, so she does. She wants to feel like she blends in. Yeah, I don't think I have an accent. I don't know what you think, but
What's it called? I feel like I never hear it until like there's like 4 or 5 words that people say that like I'll hear it. Because like
Mhm.
my college roommate was from California and I wouldn't hear it and then she'd get really tired because it was 12 p.m. and she needed to go to sleep and you would like hear the vocal fry coming out because she's from San
Yeah,
Diego and I'd be like, oh, there's the accent.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite weird or unusual snack?
Weird or unusual snack. Oh man. Honestly, I think I'm pretty basic on the snacks. I hate to say it. Right now I have an obsession with Trader Joe's buffalo chicken dip with some
Mm.
pita chips. Oh my gosh, that is like my my go-to right now. It's so good.
And then our last question of the day, is there someone from any other Olympic team or potential Olympic team, because rosters haven't been named, that you want to meet in the Olympic Village?
If Caitlin Clark was named to the team, I would definitely want to meet her. Coco Gauff, Simone Biles. Oh my gosh, Simone Biles. Yeah, I would go crazy. Um, yeah, I'm a big like basketball fan too. So like LeBron, Jason Tatum. Um, yeah. Other countries? I'm not really. Yeah. What did other people say? I don't even know other countries.
Um, I don't think anyone said anything from another country.
No,
Yeah, I
most of
know.
us like Caitlin Clark,
A lot of
LeBron.
LeBron, and we're
Yeah.
asking if you guys meet LeBron and Sessa is there. We want a picture of the height difference.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Like
Oh my God.
it's a need. If you see him,
Yeah.
Yes,
like we
we
need a picture.
Yes, yes. We'll try and make that happen.
I'm trying to think, if anyone else, soccer people, um, like I know someone said Roosevelt.
yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The whole women's soccer team, I mean, that I grew up watching them and was obsessed with them. Yeah, yeah. No, literally. Well, I don't know, even remember when I started, like 2008 or something. But yeah, I am a huge super fan of them. I think I wish I could have had a soccer career, but I do not have the foot coordination and honestly just didn't like the sport as much as field hockey. But I mean, like the league they have and like the talent they have in that group is so cool, and yeah, I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah, I hope that one day we'll have like a pro league like they do. That's like
Yeah,
actually developed.
me too. Me too.
All right. Any more questions, Joe?
Think all good. All right, so that wraps up our player corner today. Thank you so much for Leah for joining us and talking with us today.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
So welcome to the post show, but we're not really doing post shows anymore. Because we are recapping all of the Pro League games on Inside the 25, which is also up on our YouTube last week's games. We did the first one, I had no guests, and then we had Mark from Dartmouth, who's also the U18 national team coach, on. And then this weekend we're having, I haven't confirmed that one, and then we should be having Dan Strange, who is an FIH commentator, on to recap shows. We're just figuring out agreements. So we're not doing any post shows. Also, we are on Spotify now. I'm working on Apple Podcasts. I'm like an Apple Podcast user, so I gotta figure it out, but they're a little annoying with something. My logo doesn't work. I don't really know. But yeah, so we are also on Spotify, and for Spotify, it is for the original, for the first 11 episodes, it's just the interview. We cut out the post shows for those to make them a little bit shorter and palatable. So definitely feel free to check those out. And I'll have an announcement up on my Instagram when we start doing Apple Podcasts. But just want to thank our sponsor, Skills Machine, for joining. We still do have a giveaway. It is the first pin post on my Instagram right now. And thank you so much, Crouton, for coming on. We had so much fun with Crouton. I listen, I don't have favorite episodes, but this was definitely in the top 3 for most fun ones to film. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you guys next week. Next week is going to be next week will be Cassie Sunfest. So definitely a popular one next week. But yeah, that does it for us. I hope you have a good weekend, and make sure to watch the Pro League. It's on CBS Sports this week.